Today we have Maura Cook with us, who's the Senior Director of Marketing and Engagement for the United Way of Central and Northeastern Connecticut. Welcome to you there, Maura.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So Maura, what's going on at the United Way?
Well, lots is always going on at United Way. This year it is no exception. But what I really kind of want to share today is just all of the work that we've been doing, focused on responding and helping people to recover from the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. So, since last March, we've been working really hard to assess community needs, to work with partners, to work with our fellow United Ways across the state, to really understand what's happening, what's going on, what are people facing in communities. And I think, as many of us know from tuning into the news, from what we've heard, throughout this year, is that as the pandemic continues, as the duration of this crisis gets longer and longer, what we see is that more and more families are struggling to make ends meet. We're seeing that unemployment continues to rise. We are seeing that food insecurity continues to be a top concern for families. And that families are just facing new challenges with respect to children and youth, and having quality childcare options and educational opportunities. So our work has really been focused on how can we respond quickly, and then what are we going to need in the long term to build back stronger than before. So we've spent a lot of time early on, right, in doing some immediate response funding, in mobilizing volunteers to distribute face masks across the entire state. And that work was all really important. And now what we're turning our attention to is what are we going to need in the long term? And so we recently established the United Way COVID-19 Fund to help us do just that.
So tell us a little bit more about the COVID-19 funds.
So the United Way COVID-19 Fund was established to help us be able to really pivot as needed, to focus both on understanding that there are going to be some more immediate needs that come up, but also look at what are the kind of big systems level things that we're going to need to do to help our communities recover. We know that unemployment is a top concern, and that there's going to be a lot of work that needs to be done to take a look at what does the employment landscape look like? What are the changes to the job sectors that are needed, in our state? And how can we help people access training and opportunities to obtain jobs that will allow them an opportunity to advance and to make a living wage and to make more than ends meet? And in the meantime, while people are doing that, how do we make sure that people have access to income supports, things like SNAP, things like free tax assistance, and also financial management programs, so that we can keep people stable while they're working through, while they're getting back to work or finding new work. We also know that, for children, there's always learning loss. There's learning loss for every child, every summer. But you have instances where there are children who have been in hybrid situations, some who have not been in school in many months. This obviously varies district to district, and who didn't have summer programs, summer programs that they rely on to keep their skills up, to keep their academics on track. And so we're taking a hard look at that. We're working with our school partners to be creative about how can we have safe and positive environments for children when they can't be in school, to learn when parents are working. How can we address the childcare challenges that families are facing? And so that's a lot of what we are looking at here, while of course keeping our eye on, again, food security and things that can create situations where people will become homeless. So helping people with rent assistance, helping people with utility assistance, so keeping people in their homes fed and healthy.
So Maura, I just wanted to go back to kind of the beginning with the jobs. What are some of like the specifics as far as just some of the training that you guys are doing? Because I know that it it has to be the hardest thing, right now, to be trying to find a job, or especially with a lot of these businesses closing and people losing jobs left and right. So what are like some specifics as far as the training that you guys offer?
Yeah, so at United Way, we support programs and services that help people access training, but also access jobs that we know are in demand in the state, and that will give them that opportunity for advancement. And so there are several examples of that. All of the financial stability programs that we fund have a job training element to them, as well as financial management components. But some of our best examples, of this work for us has spanned, well over a decade, is the work that we've done in the areas of advanced manufacturing, of working with employers and understanding what their needs are for the job, their job force, and what training skills are needed, but also what kind of soft skills are needed for employees, and working with partners in the community college systems, with Connecticut Center for Advanced Technology, to get people that training, and to provide them with the services that they need while they're in the training programs, to make sure that they stay stable, they're able to be on track to complete the program. And we've seen amazing successes there. And so our goal is, this is an area where we've developed expertise. We have great relationships and the ability to convene employers and people who are passionate about this and are passionate about scaling up our workforce and getting people placed into jobs. And so our goal is to continue to leverage those relationships to look at what is the landscape now, with COVID-19, how has it changed? And what are the jobs that are in demand that we can help get people connected to? And one other thing I just want to mention is that United Ways all across our state also support 211, United Way 211. And so for people who are unemployed, who need services, who aren't sure where to turn, that is a great place to start, because they can connect you with a lot of those different programs that I just mentioned. And I think that's the thing that is really important that people know about United Way. When you support United Way, you're supporting a network of partners. We're working together, so that, because the same family that needs job training, that needs an opportunity, also probably needs food while they're waiting for that job, also probably needs, childcare options so they can go to work. And so 211 is a great connection of that. And United Ways, that's what we're supporting. We're supporting that network of programs that's working together.
Well, and I'm really interested in these programs that you're talking about for kids, especially kids that have been hybrid, with the hybrid learning. I'm in that similar situation here at my home. Talk to me about some of the programs that you guys are coming up with for 2021 for children.
So one thing that we're really excited to pilot and bring to our region is a program that's called Velo. So for years, our United Way has managed a program that we call United Way Readers, and also various other types of programs where we bring volunteers into the school to work with students who are falling behind or at risk of falling behind, so that they get that bonus time with a caring adult. And one thing that we're seeing, with the pandemic is that none of that can happen, right? And so we have challenges, reaching children. If children are at home and online, there is only so much that, anyone teacher, anyone person can do, right? So being able to leverage volunteers in a new way is really exciting and really important. So we are bringing this program to the Hartford area. Like I said, it's called Velo. Basically, it's a way that volunteers can virtually connect with students securely. And it gives them access to an entire library of thousands of online titles that are divided up by grade level, so that teachers can enter their students into the program, and students can read and practice reading and practice vocabulary with a volunteer on the other end of the computer who's able to do that. So we think that this will really help for students who need that extra attention. When reading is hard for you, it's like anything else. When something is hard for you, you don't necessarily want to do it on your own, right? So giving them that time with a caring adult who is invested in them, I think will help dramatically in catching kids up who are struggling and behind with literacy. And we're also looking at ways that we can use this for other subjects like science and math. So we're really excited to bring that program to Hartford. And then we're really working with our school districts to say, how do we provide these spaces for students? You know, not everyone is able to learn at home. Not everyone has the access. Parents are at work. So really working with our early childcare providers, working with our out of school time youth development partners to say, what do you need? How can we pivot? How can we make sure that kids have what they need to learn?
Yeah, I love that because I feel like, it is really hard for these teachers right now. I'm experiencing it where they're trying to split their time between 10 kids in the classroom and 10 kids that are at home with all the questions and everything that's going on. I mean, teachers are facing greater challenges than ever. So the fact that you guys are offering that program is great.
Yeah, we're really, really excited about it. And we already have a lot of volunteers from some primary, companies in the area that are signing on. Stanley Black & Decker, for example, has decided to sponsor the program, and they're part of the reason we're able to bring this to the Hartford area. And so we have volunteers lined up, and we're really excited to start in February.
That is so great.
Yeah.
Now, talking about your food insecurity programs, because, we've talked about this a lot on this show, there are folks that are facing this that they never thought they would face this. There are middle-class families that are now lining up to get food at Rentschler Field. I mean, the need is greater than ever across the board as far as food insecurity. So can you tell us some of your programs concerning that?
Yeah, so we have done a few primary things on the food front. So we continue to fund Connecticut's regional food banks. And have worked with them to say, what is the increased need and how can we make sure that you're able to meet that. So, of course, our partner, Food Share, they've been the primary folks leading the efforts at Rentschler Field. We've been working with them to help them get the word out about where people can get food. So that's an extremely important piece. The other thing that we did is we partnered with United Ways across the state, and we launched a special Connecticut United Ways COVID-19 Response Fund. And with that, we raised funds to be able to provide direct financial assistance to families. And so we were able to partner with municipal social services agencies to release funds to residents in various towns. And so each person was able to access a $200 mobile gift card. And what we found is overwhelmingly, those were used to purchase food.
Wow. So how do people qualify for something like that?
So in that case, you really just need to reach out to your town. The first phase has been completed, but we're working on what phase 2 will look like. So reaching out to your town social services director is always a great way to go if you need resources around food or any sort of basic assistance. I think something that we've seen with the pandemic is that the majority of people who are using the Rentschler Field location and some of our other services, it is their first time ever having to use a service like this. So what I want people to know is if you're struggling, help is out there. There are so many great programs out there. So your town, is a great place to start. But again, also 211. Call 211, use their website. You can search for any number of resources. Call specialists will help connect you to all of the things you need. So you just can call one place to find all of the resources that you're in need of. And these programs are out there for that. And we're ready to help. We know that so many people are finding themselves in situations that they did not expect, when the year started. And so I want people to know that there are so many programs out there and great nonprofit partners who are ready to help.
So as far as childcare, I know you mentioned childcare. What kind of programs are you offering as far as that?
So at our United Way, we work with early child care providers. So we fund programs that help create access to childcare. So help for offer childcare on a sliding scale based on your income, right? Because we know that childcare is one of the most expensive.
It's so expensive.
Yeah, it's
some
like
folks work to pay childcare. It's
housing
so
and
expensive.
childcare. Yeah, it's like half of what we would call the Alice household survival budget. It's half of a family's budget, roughly. Those two line items together, right? So those are really what our efforts are focused on. But a couple of things I would want people to know about is, again, 211, you can search childcare centers in your area. They have a special section where you can look at, what's accredited. You can put in different criteria based on kind of what you need for your children. And it will bring up a bunch of options for you. But the other thing I want people to know about, particularly families in Hartford who have children who are ages 0 to 5, we are partnering with our 3 hospitals in Hartford, Connecticut Children's Medical Center, Hartford Hospital, and Trinity Health New England St. Francis, to make a program available that's called Dolly Parton's Imagination Library. So this is a program that Dolly Parton, released nationally, but the goal is to get children exposed to more words during the time that their brains are developing most rapidly. 0 to 3 is the time when children develop most rapidly with respect to their kind of cognitive development. And so through this partnership, what we're doing is children are able to get 1 book per month sent to their home, mailed to their home. It's open to any Hartford resident, any Hartford family. So we know, right, when we're struggling to make ends meet, certainly books are not necessarily in the budget. It's harder to access a lot of kind of public services right now. So this is a great way, completely free. You can go to our website, www.unitedwayinc.org, to enroll and have a book sent to you and your child once per month.
Wow, that's awesome. That's such a great program. And you know what? It gives the kids something to look forward to, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, getting a brand new title every month. They're available in English and Spanish. So, whatever you're in need of, you can go in, register on our site, like I said, and we'll get you enrolled. And so by the time, a child reaches kindergarten, they have a whole library, of amazing titles. So we strongly encourage families to take part in that. And if people want to support it, a really small donation can cover books for a year for a child. So definitely check out that program and get involved.
So speaking of that, we always like to ask, how do we make a donation to the United Way? Because I know that you guys are looking for funds and folks are out there, they want to help. So how can we go about making that donation?
Yeah, so if you visit www.unitedwayinc.org, you can click the donate button. Within that, you can designate your gift. We have different designation options if you want to support a particular interest area of ours. So if you're really passionate about workforce development, you can, give directly to our economic mobility areas or education. You can do that as well. So, the nonprofit community needs everyone's help right now. We're here and we have been responding and we will continue to respond. And we believe we're ready to help our community build back better. We know that the issues we're facing right now are not new, right? People were struggling prior, but the pandemic has just exacerbated these challenges. And so it's really our goal to build back stronger, to create a more equitable community after the pandemic. And nonprofits need help right now too. We are living in a very different world, different ways of fundraising. We can't have events, right? So the nonprofit community has been really pivoting and has been doing such extraordinary work, to make sure that all services are delivered, no services are disrupted, even if we have to do them virtually. And so we appreciate any amount you can give makes a difference.
So I wanted to ask you, I know we're in a new year. We just got in this new year, but are you experiencing even over the last few months that people are more generous than ever, or what is your experience?
Yeah, absolutely. This community that we are a part of has been incredibly supportive. We have seen, when we started our initial COVID-19 response, workplaces, were stepping up with extremely generous investments to help to create response funds. We've had companies, but also volunteer groups work to provide PPE and face masks to nonprofits. So we have a group out of Farmington that actually sews and creates reusable face masks. And then we've had companies like Bank of America and more recently Pratt & Whitney give very large donations of single-use face masks that have been critical because our nonprofit agencies that are open are struggling to provide PPE for their staff. And so donations like that are hugely helpful to make sure that those services can continue safely. And just seeing people, be open, be ready to kind of figure things out, to volunteer virtually, to take videos of themselves reading to children, and to attend events in very, different ways and to network in different ways. I've just been so impressed by how resilient our community is. And so, yes, absolutely. The generosity we've seen is amazing. And I think as we go into 21, our message is just that the pandemic continues, people continue to struggle. And even, with the hope of the vaccine, which we're very, optimistic about, the economic effects of this pandemic are going to continue long after the vaccine. My colleague at Food Chair, Jason Jakubowski, also often says we're looking at least 18 months, post-pandemic, post-reopening, that people are still going to be really, really struggling. And the longer it continues, the longer that seems to loom. So I so appreciate everyone's generosity. I just want to remind people we still need you.
Right. Me and Michi were at work the other day talking about, one of our coworkers, he was on the air and he was talking about the fact that people don't seem this year to be making New Year's resolutions. And I said, well, because no one knows what's going to happen, right? Yeah. I mean, this is just like, we're all kind of in this weird situation where it's kind of like a standstill. And hopefully things will get better, but absolutely the United Way is helping to make things better. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So Maura, before you go, I know that you're here to talk about the COVID-19 funds, okay? But is there any programs coming up in 2021 that we need to look out for that you're super excited about, or?
Yeah, so we are, I mentioned some of the challenges that people have around holding virtual events and things like that, but we are working to bring some, I think, amazing special events and opportunities for people to come together, do things that they love, and support United Way. So we have a town hall on our Alice work, particularly related to homelessness, coming up at the end of January. We also have the real estate and building industry, the commercial real estate and building industry is putting on their first ever virtual event dedicated to raising funds for those experiencing homelessness. And then we have a golf tournament scheduled for the spring. We have lots of great events, and then also more volunteer opportunities. So we want people to get involved. Just because we can't be together physically doesn't mean that we can't get involved and support our community. So I know people have not necessarily been making resolutions, but if one thing that you wanted to do was to get involved or figure out a way to help in your community, just know that United Way is here. Part of our role is, yes, responding to the needs of the community, but the other really important role that we play is connecting people that want to help with ways to do so. And we have lots and lots you can do so, even in a year where things look a little different. So please go to our website, find something that interests you. We want to get to know you. We want to get involved.
Well, it's going to be an exciting year with United Way. And what is your website?